Sup, witches?
Must be the season of the witch. Must be the season of the witch, yeah. Must be the season of the witch.
What's up, witches? It's Witch Wednesday yet again, and it's your lovable, unhinged host, Adam the Movie Guy. And on this episode, I'll be giving my quick thoughts on the 2021 film, Witch Hunt, which, I'm going to keep doing that, stars an actress I covered in the previous Witch Wednesday episode where I discussed the Craft films, and that actress is Gideon Adlin, who plays the main character, as well as starring Abigail Cohen, who's no stranger to witchcraft as she played Dorcas on Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Both very talented and stunningly beautiful actresses. And Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is a great show, by the way. I can't wait to cover it someday, since it's about Sabrina Spellman from Archie comic books, one of my favorite witches in all of fiction, right next to Samantha from Bewitched. I'm still disappointed they canceled it just one fucking season too early. I was hoping it would at least get one more, but I suppose it's better to end on a good note than stick around and end on a shitty one, so there's that. After I give my thoughts on the movie, I'm gonna pivot over to a new subject concerning an age-old trope when it comes to witches. Which, fucking hell, I'm not gonna stop doing that, motherfucker. That trope is the whole ugly equals bad witch, while beautiful equals good witch. And give some examples, my thoughts on them, and works that flip the script on that. So let's get started with the first segment, my thoughts and review of the movie Witch Hunt.
I'm with the federal branch of the BWI, the Bureau of
Witchcraft Investigations. I'm familiar.
I've been dispatched to follow up on a report of suspicious activity. May I come in?
Detective, I assure you, there are no witches here.
We need to stop. We can't be risking our lives for them.
These women are born with their powers. They don't have a choice.
Have you ever made anything fly?
How am I supposed to control something that I'm not even allowed to practice? Why does it have to be bad? I'm not bad!
I thought that I could keep you safe, and I can't.
Keep quiet. There's nothing in that thing that shouldn't be there, is there? No. I hate liars.
You want to try?
So, the story of Witch Hunt is about an alternative universe modern-day America, where witches exist and are public knowledge, and witchcraft itself is outlawed and is punishable by death. Kinda seems extreme if you ask me, to put it mildly. Holy shit, this would be a fucking nightmare if it was our world. The focus on the story is on Gideon Adlin's character Claire, a teenage girl who assists her mother Martha in hiding and smuggling witches down to Mexico for safety, since it's a safe haven down there for them. Claire meets Fiona, a teenage witch, and her little sister Shay, who go to Martha and Claire for help getting down to Mexico and stay with them for a few days until they can get safe passage. Unfortunately, due to their driver getting busted and the poor witch they were helping ended up getting burned alive, as well as certain events lead the feds to their door investigating them, things get complicated and revelations are made. That's about the gist of the film, and I want to say it's a phenomenal concept. However, it's a concept to me that is better suited in television format. Also, the main agent asshole detective Hawthorne, played by Christian Camargo, who's on Claire's family's case, who does some exposition explaining a bit more that there's apparently a science behind detecting witches, aside from the other tests that we saw. For example, the pressure in the air drops and they fuck with Compass's sense of direction when they're in their presence, which we see multiple times when he pulls it out. He apparently comes from a long line of witch hunters, and when he's talking about it, I couldn't help but think in my head, like, really, guy? That's something you're proud of? You and your ancestors murdering innocent women just because you're afraid of what they could do? Not even because they done anything wrong, which is something that Claire confronts him on during the climax of the movie when she points out being a witch by itself isn't illegal, just the use of magic, which he literally at gunpoint tries to demand that she do, or he's gonna shoot her regardless. So it's a lose-lose situation for Claire. He just wants to kill witches, period, whether or not they have actually done anything wrong. To him, that's irrelevant. Also, spoiler alert, Claire finds out she's a witch towards the end of the film. There's also some really fascinating political and legislative things going on in the background that Claire is researching about for school, like this new proposed bill that would severely restrict witches' freedoms, such as being able to have a driver's license or travel to certain locations, or I have no fucking idea, like have families, or just, it would restrict all their freedoms, some shit like that, right? And there's some fear-mongering stories told by people posting on the internet who really want this bill pushed through. That plotline alone is enough to support multiple television episodes because in the movie, it never gets resolved. It's just thrown out there. Another plot point is the fact that witches have this sort of hive mind psychic connection of sorts. It even seems when they're dead, which really could use some more elaboration. That would be perfect for a TV show. And last but not least, what does the rest of the world look like on how witches are treated? Mexico is apparently a safe haven for them, but what about the other countries like England or China or Japan, Russia, Africa, the Caribbean islands? What are the laws over there like? Is there a conflict between countries about the treatment of witches? Are some countries aligned with others and co-signing this fucking insanity or what? What the fuck is going on here exactly? I really want to know. All of this is why, while I love the idea of the movie, it really should just be a television show to fully develop not only the characters like Claire, who I really want to see come to terms with being a witch, her friendship or possible romance with Fiona, and the inner workings of the Witch Hunting Bureau. Hell, that's another thing I want to see, the ins and outs of their operations, procedures, and rules if the pricks have any. You could do a lot with that. Hell, they could have an agent who's maybe having misgivings on what they're doing and switches sides, or another agent who maybe wants to meet halfway and tries to reform the Bureau. I don't know, something. I'm just throwing shit at the wall here. As for the characters, when I thought of them, I thought Martha, Claire's mom, played by Elizabeth Mitchell, was good and sympathetic with her cause. The Bureau agent Hawthorne was a fucking scumbag weasel piece of shit, so he did a good job at making the audience hate this prick. Claire, played by Gideon Adlin, was very well acted and had an interesting character arc that really could be expanded with a TV show, and she's always nice to see in a movie like she was in The Craft Legacy, and she's very lovely and cute. Fiona, played by the talented Abigail Cohen, was great, with making the audience sympathize with her and her baby sister, and her plight is just heart-wrenching. Also, Abigail Cohen may be a witch in real life because she is absolutely beautiful. She has this angelic face and eyes that really disarm you and make you say, wow, out loud. Also, it's funny I say angelic since she plays the character Angel in the Redeeming Love movie, an adaptation of the Christian romance book. I want to step outside horror and action and cover something like that someday since I genuinely like that movie a lot. Did I mention Abigail Cohen is beautiful? I just want to make sure that was on the record.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you.
Seriously, if somebody told me that she was an actual witch, I'd fucking believe them since she has such a beautiful face, hypnotic eyes, and with her red hair, she's very visually striking to look at and just wow. I hope she gets more leading roles since I liked her in this movie. I loved her in the Redeeming Love movie, and I loved her in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. You know what, fuck it, I may actually step outside my usual field of covering primarily action and horror and do romance with that movie. We'll see, since I got a lot of other movies, TV show, and games I want to cover the next couple of months. Now on to the ranking for the movie. I'm doing 0 to 10 broomsticks as the scale, and I award this movie 5 broomsticks out of 10. And it hurts me to give it such a low score since I really love the ideas this movie has, as well as the main girls Claire and Fiona. But I really felt budget and the constraints of being a theatrical runtime really hold this movie back, and it should have been a series, which could have fully fleshed out not only the characters but the lore and world of the film. Also, can we please get more Gideon Adlin and Abigail Cohen? I think we all need them both in more movies and TV shows. Gideon has this spark to her even when she's playing a quiet and reserved character, and she just brings this energy, while Abigail has this soulful and beautiful woman thing going on that they really make a good duo. And I've seen her in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, so she can have a much more mischievous and intimidating factor when she wants to. And did I mention she's beautiful? I'm sure I keep forgetting to mention that because she's fucking beautiful. Oh, hang on, I'm getting a call.
Come on, man, let it go.
Get off my back, Julius. Well, that's the end of this segment. Let me get on to the next, where I briefly talk about the whole ugly witch, beautiful witch trope, some examples, and my thoughts on it. And guys, it's not going to be a deep intellectual dive into the trope because, I mean, well, it's me for fuck's sake, so don't expect anything too intelligent when my brain is a fucking boulder.
It's not just a boulder. It's a rock. A rock.
And I got the IQ of a fucking chimpanzee flinging its shit at someone's face. It's really just gonna be me doing some quick musings and ramblings and my thoughts about the trope as a whole. So let's get started. Now on to this new segment, the ugly witch, beautiful witch trope. Now you guys know what I'm talking about, how when witches are depicted as being good, or at least neutral, they're often very beautiful and lean toward the younger side. And when they're depicted as evil, they're ugly with non-human colored skin like blue, green, gray, or yellow, and sometimes with warts or facial deformities and long noses and fucked up teeth, and they're often older. The first quintessential example in my mind is the classic 1939 Wizard of Oz movie, where Glinda the Good Witch literally spells out this trope for Dorothy and the audience.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
But I've already told you, I'm not a witch at all. Witches are old and ugly. What was that?
The Munchkins. They're laughing because I am a witch. I'm Glinda, the Witch of the North.
You are? Oh, I beg your pardon, but I've never heard of a beautiful witch before.
Only bad witches are ugly.
Damn, Glinda, that's kind of fucked up. But this movie and that dialogue is the example of the good witch beautiful, evil witch ugly trope. Now, there's some variations. There are plenty of examples of beautiful witches being evil and just all around horrible fucking people. However, they're also very vain and egotistical. They believe in their own hype so damn much, I gotta admit, it's kind of fucking sexy. But this is a double-edged sword in a way, since on one hand, you got a gripping, beautiful, charismatic villain that the audience loves to watch. On the other hand, it also can sometimes unintentionally say that confident, sexually forward, intelligent, take-no-shit women have to often be portrayed negatively, or they have to be amped up as a villain. There's a YouTube channel actually out there called The Take, where they discuss various tropes in fiction, and on their Witches in Entertainment trope episode, they touch upon this in the very beginning. Here's a minute of audio from that episode. Take a listen to it.
In her archetypal form, she's not conventionally attractive, and her ugliness is presented as a reflection of her inner nature.
Only bad witches are ugly.
Yet she's also deeply vain, as expressed through an obsession with making herself young and beautiful. She's almost always unmarried and hates children. In fact, they're often her primary victims.
Witches spend their time plotting to kill children, stalking the wretched child like a hunter.
In short, as Jess Bergman writes, witches are women whose embodiment of femininity in some way transgresses society's accepted boundaries. They are too old, too powerful, too sexually aggressive, too vain, too undesirable. Because of her transgressive personality, the witch has long been persecuted, and this sets up a fundamental question. Is there something wrong with her? Or with the society that can't accept her?
Why is it when a woman is confident and powerful, they call her a witch?
Here's our take on the witch.
I love this YouTube channel. The narrator is extremely intelligent, well-spoken, and insightful when talking about tropes in fiction. So she's basically the polar opposite of me, where I'm simple, barely coherent, and stuttering.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And a vulgar and crude maniac. Talk about matter and fucking antimatter. The Take, everybody. Check it out on YouTube. Great channel. Another example of this trope is in my favorite witch-themed movie, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. I absolutely love this movie. It fucks really hard. It does, however, have both versions of the ugly witch equals evil, beautiful witch equals good trope, in addition to the head evil witch being able to change her appearance from a stunning woman like the evil queen in Snow White to a more monstrous appearance as her true face. Now, having said that, that doesn't take my love away from the movie at all. I just wish we got a few more even-handed depictions of ugly witches being forces for good for a change. Well, I probably shouldn't say ugly, especially considering I'm not winning any beauty pageants anytime soon myself. I look like a fucking troll doll with my poofy hair, wannabe 1970s sideburns, Super Mario body, Twig Boy arms, and Wish.com eyes with my fucking vision, who can't go one morning without breaking his fucking bathroom mirror when looking into it. I once got a haircut and the fellas at work responded pretty much like this. See, it's fun roasting myself. My problem is, I do it a bit too much. At least that's what Amanda and Katie keep telling me. I think too little on myself, they say. But, in fairness, it could be really fucking funny to poke fun at yourself. Just don't do it too much like me, or else you'll end up crawled over in a corner in a fetal position drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels while the song All Outta Love by Air Supply is playing seemingly out of nowhere, like in Deadpool 2's opening scene.
I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. I know you were right. Believing for so long.
What the fuck was I talking about again? Oh, right, I shouldn't say ugly. I'm gonna say unconventional looking instead. Also, last thing I want to say about Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters is that the design of the witches are all unique and fucking awesome. They all stand out and have their own visual flair, with my personal favorite being one of, if not the OG scary evil witch, the Candy Witch that lured Hansel and Gretel into her home when they were kids and tried to fucking eat them. She was absolutely fucking horrifying. It was just barely, and I mean barely, human. Hell, her voice was scary too, especially when she's yelling at Hansel to eat the candy to fatten and sweeten him up. Seriously, the fact that that movie didn't get a sequel or TV show is a fucking crime. Everyone needs to check out this movie if they like fun, over-the-top violence, forced curse words, witches, an ambiguous time period with steampunk weapons. I don't know why, but it's there. And a little bit of TNA with sexy female characters. I don't even have to question that one. What's not to love? This movie could have been made in this 1970s era of grindhouse films and would have fit right in. It's fucking beautiful. Now, back to the main point of the segment in regards to the whole ugly versus beautiful witch trope. My thoughts about it just chalk it up to being, well, we as people love seeing conventionally attractive people be heroic figures and unconventional people typically as the villains, as a sort of visual indicator to point to the viewer that, hey, this person or group is sexy, so they're the good guys, while the opposite for the unconventional looking ones. It's just human nature to be more trusting and open toward a pretty or handsome face than it is to be to the opposite. Majority of people have that bias, not everyone, but most, and the average Tom, Dick, and Jane just gravitate towards that. Now, I personally don't have anything against that trope whatsoever. I just prefer that some stories subvert the trope more often and have an unconventional looking or acting witch be heroic and the beautiful witch be a villainous figure a bit more often, just to change things up a bit. At least that's what my simple brain thinks about this trope in general. Now, I know there have been works that subvert the trope, which is great, and it ultimately ties into my love for witches as a character archetype when it comes to fiction. They can be whatever you want them to be because I said it before and I'll say it again. They're people, and people all across the board when it comes to what they are personality and morality wise. And that's why witches are the fucking best, whether they're the hero or the villain, it doesn't matter. They're just that fucking great of characters to deal with in fiction. Well, guys, this is the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed the Witch Wednesday episode. This has been Adam the Movie Guy, and I'll see you next episode.